welcome back to episode 2. There's a few shots of my hometown of Westwood Ho to give you an idea of the terrain that we'll be exploring over the coming months. We've got open sandy beaches, rocky gullies and some cliff edges. Then further around the corner we've got a estuary leading up to Aperdour Quay. I'm going to be heading backwards and forwards to the tackle shop a fair bit, as you can imagine. It's based in the centre of the village, so I may as well show you around the place and hopefully get some tips on how to catch bass in the area. So Heather,
yeah.
Summerland's Tackle, how did it come about and how did you get into it?
So it was sort of an accident. So my father was a newsagent across the road where the old tackle shop used to be, and he wanted a complete change, so we started up across the road where the hardware shop now is, and then about 16 years later we moved over here, and then I joined 20 years ago. I joined when I was 16. I'd always worked here, but I was filling my time in between leaving school and having an interview with the bank, and I never got to my interview with the bank, and I'm still here now.
You just started and never left?
Yeah, pretty much. They couldn't get rid of me. Yeah. Okay, so we cater for all sorts of anglers, but we cater for sea anglers and coarse anglers mainly, coarse and carp. And then we have a small fly and pike section, which is just generally much smaller in the area. But within sea and coarse, there's lots of different subsections. So there's boat fishing, and there's spinning, and there's beach casting. There's general coarse fishing, and there's the people that are off for the big carp. So there's sort of lots of little niches within it as well.
Yeah, okay. Right, I need to go back to basics. Pretend I know nothing.
Yeah.
So I want to catch a bass. So where would you send me, and what would you send me with?
Okay, so if we were more in the summer, I'd definitely be sending you out with a bubble float and red gill at the end of the beach, because I think it's kind of like a rite of passage. That's where you've got to start. You've got to start with the basics, and you know, once you've caught a bass on a red gill and a bubble float, go from there. Right. So pretty much everything in here will catch a bass. So a bass isn't going to turn its nose up at any of this. So, but there are blueies. You can put these on whole.
Okay.
And they're a really, really good bass bait. But crab as well, this end. Live crab's ideal if you can get it, but if not, the frozen stuff is very, very good now. It didn't used to be so good. Frozen crab historically has never been very good, but the way that it's packaged now is much better, and it's a really, really good bait.
Those crabs are local, is that right?
Yes.
I guess that really helps.
Yeah, so our supplier, all of these are got from the estuary.
Yes.
So it does help because it's what they're feeding on naturally.
Yes.
But your knee-jerk would be squid, mackerel, preferably joeys, and crab.
Yes.
But if a bass is swimming by, it's not going to turn up its nose at any of what's in there. So here we've got a selection of bass lures. There is no strict rule when fishing with a bass or for bass from the shore. Apart from, you would avoid your pinks, your oranges, because they're more for off a boat.
No.
But anything natural that looks like a bait type fish, that looks like a little mackerel or a little bait fish or a little joey,
So you're just trying to imitate
little
what's
white
likely to be out there.
bait
Yeah.
would work. So any of these would work. And we buy these in and we select the ones that just generally historically have always worked locally. So you've got your what we call your soft baits with your weighted head.
Yeah.
You've got your hard lures, Tobies. Don't overcomplicate it. You know, you've got your Tobies and then your sort of Dexter imitations. You've got your little maps.
Yep.
Very good for mullet. And then you've got your sort of harder jointed lures, so sort of your J13s, your J11s. You've got your traditional Abu set there. And we sort of say to people, don't sort of overcomplicate it.
Keep it simple. Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got a tackle box with a couple of soft plastics in, a Toby in it, a J13 or a J11, maybe a Uzuri, and then you've got the ability to sort of swap and change. These have been quite popular this year. The Savage Salts, again, they're the soft plastic, but they've been sort of quite popular this year as well. And then
What about these little beauties?
yeah,
down here?
down here you've got your red gills. So this is a very, very traditional method of fishing. So you've got your bubble float, which is about 4 foot away from your red gill. Now your bubble float is one of these. So what you do is you fill this full of water,
Yeah.
and you do that by pulling these out at the top. You submerge the bubble, you bubble it full of, it literally bubbles full of water, put those in, and what you need to do is you need to allow an air bubble in the top so it floats.
Yeah.
That gives you the weight to cast it out but remains floating on the surface. And then 4 foot of line, and you put one of these, something like that, or you can have one a bit bigger. There's lots of different colours, but we tend to find the ones that work the best are your natural type colours again. Your blues, your greens, your whites, and you literally, it's like a form of sort of fly fishing in a way. You cast out and you reel in, and you just keep these moving through the water.
Cool.
Okay, so this is definitely our best catch in one tide.
Yeah.
These are all Westward Ho fish. This,
size that big.
I know, prolific angler, and these were all caught down off the rocks
Yeah.
one tide. I can't remember whether it was the morning tide or the evening tide, but they were brought to us in the morning back in the day where people used to bring fish to be photographed outside a tackle shop.
Yeah.
You say we've got the grid on the window, and that is because we had lots more smash and grabs in those days. It's really strange, isn't it? You'd think it was the other way around, but yeah. And this is the old shop, so these are photographed outside the old shop.
Oh,
But
it
that's
was across the road. Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely the best single
That's the
day's
best catch.
fishing
Yeah. In Westward Ho.
that I've ever known about bass wise. So we've got these off a boat. Do you recognise those people?
Yeah, I recognise that shifty looking bloke on the right.
Yeah, so those are off a boat. And then if we go further along the wall, so optical illusion, you can do anything. And this is back before photoshopping.
Do you actually want to talk about that?
This is old school photoshopping.
Go
So
on.
that fish is tiny and it is on a stick being held out. So, you know, you can, back in the day before filters,
why
we
don't
did it ourselves.
So I don't need to make this video. I could just do that.
Okay, so this is coming more into my day now when I started here.
Yeah.
So this is the Atkinson's on hooker,
I don't recognise that guy on the right.
don't you?
No. Should I know him?
Yeah.
Oh. No. Nope. Go on.
Pool.
Is it? No, that's not pool. That's not pool.
Okay.
Fair enough. And that was again all in one sitting.
Yeah, all in one trip. Yeah, phenomenal.
Wow.
And then we've got another one of Ivan up here with one of his catches, on two of them actually, that we've got in and out of the shop there.
Just about to see them.
Yeah. It's not a bass, but we do have my father there.
Oh yeah. Here's old Nick.
With his little rainbow.
95 Nick.
And then over here, the last one, I don't know if you can see it through, the bottom fish, man with the red checked shirt.
Oh yeah.
That's the biggest fish that's ever come out of Westward Ho. Not, or biggest bass, sorry, should I say, that I've ever known ever come out of Westward Ho.
Oh, didn't you have that in the shop and people had to guess how much it weighed?
We did. It wasn't the weight, it was, so we had it weighed here, and then we took a scale off of it.
Yeah.
And we sent the scale away to be aged, and shamefully, I can't remember how old it was, but I think it was about 17.
Wow.
17 years old.
That's impressive.
Which isn't as old as I thought it was going to be.
It's still impressive for a bass though.
Yeah.
That's cool. Looking a bit grey, but very beautiful, I must say. So with what Heather said in the shop yesterday, I'm now heading down to the end of the beach, what's known as South Gut. It's a bit of a dangerous place to fish, particularly if it's a spring tide, but we're on neap tides at the moment, so that's right. Weather conditions dry, they give about 4% chance rain. Wind is about 6 miles an hour. It's coming from the south, which isn't too bad. Like I say, we're on neap tides at the moment. Low tide is about 7 PM, which is the same time that the sun goes down. So that could well give us a chance, you know, if the bass are going to have one feed before the light goes, you know, that may well play in our favour. So at the end of the day, you've got to be in it to win it, so we'll give it a go. I'll just take a few shots around here because it's quite a beautiful place. You know, it feels like you're at the edge of the world, which is really cool. But yeah, I'm just going to put my gear down in a minute, set up, and we'll give it a go. Hey, that guy fishing down there in the water, he's wading a bit. I think he's got the right idea, being right actually into the water. Good idea for next time though. There's a bit of local knowledge for you. Right over there, all the way up the estuary, those two lights that you can see in the distance, they are called the leading lights. So if you're on a boat and you're coming over the bar, you know, where the river meets the sea, as soon as you're coming over that, you line up those two lights so they are one on top of another, so they are central, and then that, when they are central, means you are in the middle of the estuary, and that's how you want to enter it. So yeah, people do see them and then have no idea what they are. Well, that's what they are. They're the leading lights. I think one's at the top of the cricket pitch. I'm not sure where the other one is. I think it's just in a field as you go up the hill. I'm not sure about this weather though. It looks like it's going to absolutely chuck it down, and the wind's going from that direction. I think the forecasters need to have a word with themselves. We are due a storm on Wednesday, about low 40-mile-an-hour winds. So this will be like the calm before the storm. So it's nice we're getting a little session in before then. And after the storm, when the sea's been nicely churned up, might be something more interesting to find out there. But for now, it's a beautiful evening. You don't even need the sun. So where I am now, I'm just on the edge of the beach, and just over the other side there, that is South Gut. You don't want to cross that. Obviously you can't at the moment, you wouldn't have any desire to, because it's a neap tide, but when it's low it looks like you can walk across it, and you really shouldn't, because it can catch you out so quick. You know, it can the tide can come in right around you and then you're stuffed, especially if you don't have a phone with you. And if you get caught in the estuary towards Appledore on a spring tide with a huge amount of current flowing through, your chances of making it to Appledore are pretty slim unless you've got a life jacket with you. So that sky's doing some beautiful things right now. Still pretty quiet out there, not a single nibble. I've been out here about 45 minutes. Yep. Oh, thought I lost my bubble for a minute. Now we're all right. Yeah, not much going on. I think I'll put it down to the fact that there's no bloody fish here. I did catch my first bass just a little bit further up where the rocks are. That's like the end of the burrows, the end of where the golf course is over there. Oldest golf course in Britain, don't you know? Yeah, it's only about that sort of size, about a foot, if that. Yeah, about an ounce. No, more like a pound, I think. But yeah, no, was it a pound? No, it was more like an ounce. So yeah, it can happen. I do remember watching it. I think I threw the lure into the surf. It was on a red gill just like this. I was throwing it into the surf, and as it was coming closer to me, I could see the bass just chasing it. Not sure what I'd change about tonight's session. Maybe I'd have bought some naturally coloured lures instead of just white, because the water clarity was actually clearer than I thought it would be. I thought it would be quite churned up, but no, it was quite clear. So yeah, that if anything. I think the time of day is ideal. Weather conditions, yeah, nothing wrong with that. So yeah, I think really just got to keep doing it, and you'll end up in the right place at the right time, and as will the bass. A few of the locals that have been fishing from boats around this end of the beach haven't been having much luck either. I'm still convinced that these big bass are still in the area, as it's still quite warm. So I'm already in the middle of preparing for the next venture in a different part of Westward Ho. I really enjoyed making this video, as well as episode 1. If you'd like a notification to say when the next video is out, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you at the next one. Have a good one. See you soon.